Welcome to the Purdue Web Accessibility Training. We want to make sure that everyone understands what web accessibility is and help you understand what it is that you need to do when editing web content to make sure that your website complies with the web accessibility standards. So what is web accessibility? Well, web accessibility basically allows for equal access of information to all users. That may be users with a disability or an inability to read certain things on the web. And so web accessibility modifies the HTML code to make sure that assistive technology such as screen readers can read the information and convey it in a way to the person with a disability that they can understand and use the information on the web. And as a part of this, there's a variety of different things that we need to know. First of all, the web policy for Purdue, there's a website here at purdue.edu/web accessibility that it contains all the information that you need to know about web accessibility. If we click on the policy tab here, we'll see that there are many aspects of the policy that we will need to go over, and that's this A through P here. It is basically the breakdown of all the different HTML modifications that you have to do to make sure that your page is accessible to everyone. So we're going to take a look real quick at what the actual web accessibility policy is for Purdue University. So from that page, I clicked on the link showing the Purdue University policy for web accessibility. And you can go ahead and read through this at your leisure. But the basic general part of this training is basically that the statement of policy is that all university web pages that are published or redesigned will conform to these standards by March 15th, 2014. And the reason for this policy is to make sure that everyone has access to information and that the university continues its goal of providing services to everyone. And the important things for you to note is that this applies to only university web pages that are conducting university business. So if you host something on a Purdue server that is such as like a personal blog or a personal website, they do not need to comply with this policy. However, we do encourage that everyone and every web page does comply with this policy just because it helps so that everybody can read the information on your website. And so what this means to you is that as we go through this training, you're going to learn about what the policy does and how to do it, and then some different training on how this actually applies to you. So I'm going to go back here to the web accessibility policy, and there's a lot of different things in here that may not make sense to those that are not in web design. So things like a text equivalent for every non-text element shall be provided. So what does that actually mean? Well, what that means is that there is a way in the HTML code to make sure that an image has an alt text. So what I have here is a basic text editor that shows a image tag or an image item. So typically when you add an image to HTML, the code would look something like this. You use this image tag and then you put the source of the image. And I'm just doing the Purdue signature or the Purdue logo as an example here. So what you would need to do to make this image accessible, adding a non-text element to describe it, is you'd have to add this alt tag in here. So they've added this Purdue signature as the alt tag. And that is basically what makes the web page be web accessible to somebody that's doing this, because what the assistive reader will do is it'll actually go over and it'll look at this image, and because some people won't be able to see the image, what it'll do instead is it'll read the alt tag as Purdue signature, saying that there is a Purdue signature or logo there in place of where that image would be. So that's just one example of what the web policy does and how you're going to use it to make sure that your web page is accessible. So now that you know a little bit about what the web accessibility policy is, we're going to have you go through a document or where this web video is embedded. We will have you go through and we're going to teach you about how to do these various things that are on this web page. So what does it mean to add a text equivalent like we just showed you? What are some ways that we can get rid of or be compliant with the row and column headers for data tables, and what does all that mean to you? And so we encourage you to go through the rest of this training, and when you feel comfortable with web accessibility, you can go ahead and take the final assessment and become certified in this web accessibility policy. Thank you.